Have you ever said something and immediately regretted it? We've all been there. Those moments when our words feel like arrows we can't take back. But imagine if you could master your speech so that every word you utter reflects wisdom and inner strength. That's exactly what we'll discuss today. The things that a smart person never says, inspired by the timeless philosophy of Stoicism. Stoicism teaches us that words are not just sounds. They are reflections of our intellect and values. From avoiding meaningless boasting to understanding the power of silence, these habits not only shape your communication style, but also define who you are. Most importantly, by the end of this video, you'll receive practical advice that will immediately improve your communication, whether at work, with friends, or even in your inner dialogue. First, avoid bragging about your knowledge. Have you ever met someone who couldn't stop talking about their knowledge and achievements? They constantly discuss what they know, the lessons they've learned, and even the books they've read. At first, their confidence may seem impressive, but over time, admiration turns into distance. Not because their knowledge lacks value, but because the way they present it makes others feel overshadowed. The philosophy of Stoicism emphasizes that true wisdom doesn't need to be flaunted. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If someone is better than you in virtue and intelligence, do not be angry, but rather learn from them." This isn't just advice, it's a way of life. I once knew a man named Sergey, an expert in technology. In meetings, he always tried to be the smartest person in the room. He would talk about major projects he had worked on, the complex technologies he had mastered, and even the awards he had won. But eventually, people started feeling like Sergey turned every conversation into a personal showcase. One day, a colleague honestly told him that, while his knowledge was impressive, his approach was off-putting. That was a turning point for Sergey. He realized that in trying to impress people, he was unintentionally pushing them away. When you feel the urge to share your opinions or insights, ask yourself, why? If your goal is to help others or contribute to the conversation, that's great. But if you're seeking admiration or recognition, reconsider your intentions. Bragging not only diminishes the value of your words, but also creates an invisible barrier between you and others. Instead of inspiring people, you make them feel judged. Stoicism offers a solution. Let your actions speak louder than your words. If you truly possess knowledge, it will naturally show in your work and problem-solving skills. Practice humility. Humility doesn't mean downplaying your abilities. It means allowing others to recognize them on their own through interaction and experience. Listen more. When you listen, you not only learn from others, but also show respect, fostering deeper connections. Silence is a form of wisdom that Stoics consider incredibly powerful. It is not a sign of ignorance, but a sign of confidence and understanding. Over time, Sergey changed his approach. He became more reserved in conversations, listened more attentively, and contributed in a way that elevated those around him. Avoiding bragging doesn't mean denying yourself the opportunity to share knowledge. It means presenting it in a way that fosters respect and connection. Stoicism teaches us that our words reflect our inner character. When you choose humility over arrogance, you elevate not just yourself, but those around you. Ask yourself, what do my words say about me? The answer to that question will define your path to personal growth. Second, never dismiss others' opinions. Have you ever felt ignored in a conversation when your opinion was dismissed before you could even explain it? It's a painful experience. Worse, it can make you start doubting yourself. Do my words even matter? I know this feeling all too well because I used to be the one causing it. Early in my leadership role at work, I was confident in my ability to make quick decisions. In one meeting, a colleague suggested an idea, and without much thought, I interrupted and dismissed it as impractical. I believed I was saving time for everyone, but I failed to realize how my behavior was affecting the team. After the meeting, a trusted colleague told me, "You know, that idea wasn't actually that bad." That comment was a wake-up call. I realized that I had not only missed an opportunity, but had also unintentionally created a closed-off atmosphere within my team. Stoicism teaches us that true wisdom comes from openness, not arrogance. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You cannot learn what you think you already know." When you dismiss others outright, you not only shut the door on creativity, but also weaken trust. This experience changed my approach to conversations. In future meetings, I reminded myself that listening doesn't mean agreeing. Listening means respecting and being open to learning, even if an idea initially seems unworkable. To my surprise, by adopting a more curious mindset, my team began generating breakthrough solutions that I would have never considered. Try shifting your perspective. Instead of thinking, "How can I argue against this idea?" ask yourself, "What can I learn from this?" Even seemingly flawed ideas may contain valuable insights, and even if they don't, understanding someone else's perspective still holds value. Practice humility. Stoicism reminds us that we are not the center of the universe. Dismissing other people's opinions is essentially placing your own views above everyone else's, as if only you hold the absolute truth. The reality is, no one knows everything. Encourage open discussions. After changing my approach, the atmosphere in my meetings improved. I started asking more questions and encouraging even the quietest team members to share their thoughts. The result? Not only did we generate better ideas, but the team also felt more respected and connected. Ultimately, avoiding the dismissal of others' opinions is not just an act of kindness, it's a strategy. When you respect the viewpoints of those around you, you open the door to endless ideas, insights, and opportunities. You build trust and create an environment where real innovation can flourish. Stoics believe that wisdom isn't about proving you're right. It's about understanding that every person, in their unique expression, holds a piece of the truth. And that is the essence of true wisdom. Third, avoid complaining without purpose. Life is filled with challenges, work deadlines, family responsibilities, and the inevitable difficulties that come our way. However, instead of dealing with these challenges constructively, some people develop a habit of constant complaining. Take Alexander, for example, a man who was always frustrated with everything, from incompetent colleagues to the office coffee machine constantly breaking down. His complaints knew no limits. At first, his co-workers sympathized with him, even offering solutions. But as the weeks turned into months, his endless negativity began to drain those around him. One day, a colleague finally asked him, "I understand your frustration, but what are you doing to solve these problems?" That question stuck with Alexander. He realized that he wasn't looking for solutions. He was simply venting, making himself and those around him feel worse. This situation is familiar to many of us. It's easy to fall into the trap of expressing frustration without considering how it affects others or even ourselves. Stoic philosophy offers a powerful antidote. Focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. Marcus Aurelius wisely wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Complaining, especially about things outside our control, only reinforces a sense of helplessness, trapping us in a cycle of negativity. However, not all complaints are bad. If they are expressed with the goal of creating change, they can be a force for positive transformation. But complaints without purpose become nothing more than empty noise, words that drain energy and solve nothing. Consider this. Complaining about traffic doesn't clear the roads, and whining about the weather doesn't stop the rain. Smart people understand this difference and direct their energy toward what truly matters. How to break the habit of pointless complaints. Ask yourself, what can I do about this? If the answer is nothing, then let it go. Expressing frustration over things you can't change not only wastes time, but also robs you of inner peace. Redirect your energy. Instead of complaining, invest your effort into something constructive. Read, reflect, or practice gratitude for what is going well in your life. Reframe your mindset. Instead of asking, "Why does this always happen to me?" try asking, "What can I learn from this?" Every challenge presents an opportunity for growth. Complaining closes us off to these opportunities, while reflection helps us unlock them. Let's return to Alexander. He took his colleagues' advice seriously and started changing his mindset. Instead of complaining about his boss, he prepared well-thought-out solutions for work-related problems. Instead of being frustrated by traffic, he started listening to audiobooks or practicing mindfulness during his commute. Over time, his perspective on life shifted. His words became more meaningful because they were no longer filled with negativity. His relationships improved, and co-workers began turning to him for advice, admiring his calm and solution-oriented approach. In the end, letting go of pointless complaints is about reclaiming your power. When you focus on what you can control, you not only strengthen your influence over those around you, but also create a life filled with resilience, purpose, and connection. Stoicism reminds us that our words and thoughts are tools. If used wisely, they can build a life full of strength and meaning. When you stop wasting energy on empty complaints and choose constructive action instead, you not only change how others perceive you, you change your own life. Fourth, don't make empty promises. Promises hold a special place in our lives. They create expectations, build trust, and define relationships. However, how often do we make promises without truly considering whether we can keep them? This habit, even if unintentional, can damage our reputation and weaken our relationships. Stoic philosophy teaches us the importance of aligning our words with our actions, emphasizing that honesty isn't about how much you say, it's about following through on what you say. Take Daniel, for example, a hard-working professional in his 50s who struggled to balance a demanding career with family responsibilities. Daniel was a kind and well-intentioned person, but he often overcommitted. He would promise his team that he would review their reports by Monday, or assure his family that he would be home for dinner, but time and time again, he failed to follow through. At first, people excused his behavior, understanding that he was busy. But over time, the accumulation of broken promises led to disappointment. His team began doubting his commitments, and his family grew tired of the constant excuses. One day, after missing yet another family event, his daughter left a note on his desk that read, "We just want you to say what you truly mean." Those simple words hit him hard. Daniel realized that his words, though well-intended, were causing more harm than good. They were eroding the trust and respect he had worked so hard to build. This story highlights a key Stoic principle: speak with intention and act with integrity. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Let your words be simple and sincere." This teaching reminds us that a promise isn't just a way to appease someone in the moment. It's a commitment that ties our words to our reputation, how to avoid making empty promises while preserving trust and respect. Pause before committing. Before making a promise, ask yourself, can I realistically fulfill this? If the answer isn't clear, it's better to set realistic expectations than to overpromise and underdeliver. For example, instead of saying, "I'll definitely have this done by tomorrow," say, "I'll try to finish this by tomorrow, but if I need more time, I'll let you know." Practice the principle of under-promising and over-delivering. Set achievable goals and, whenever possible, exceed them. Imagine if Daniel had told his team he needed 3 days to review reports, but finished in 2. This would have demonstrated thoughtfulness and reliability. If you break a promise, own it. If you find yourself unable to keep a commitment, be honest about it. Instead of making excuses, sincerely apologize, briefly explain the situation, and offer a solution. This approach minimizes damage and shows respect for others' time and trust. Daniel took this lesson seriously. He became more mindful of his commitments, learned to say no when necessary, and prioritized fulfilling the promises he made. Over time, his team regained trust in him, and his family began to see a real change. His words became more sincere, and more importantly, his actions reinforced them. In the end, avoiding empty promises isn't about striving for perfection, it's about striving for sincerity. Stoicism teaches us that a meaningful life is one where words and actions align. When you follow this principle, you don't just earn respect, you build deeper, more meaningful relationships. After all, we are not defined by the promises we make. We are defined by the ones we keep. Fifth, never deny your mistakes. Have you ever felt the sting of being publicly proven wrong? I used to think admitting mistakes made me look weak, but one experience completely changed my perspective. Thanks to Stoic philosophy, I realized that acknowledging your mistakes doesn't diminish your worth. It elevates you as an honest and strong individual. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, whether in thought or action, I will gladly change. I seek the truth, and the truth never harms anyone." These words remind us that seeking the truth is more important than protecting our ego. Let me share a personal story. Years ago, I was leading a major project at work. In my rush to meet the deadline, I overlooked critical details in a report. As a result, my team faced criticism from senior management. When the mistake was brought to my attention, my first instinct was to defend myself, to blame heavy workloads, tight deadlines, or anything else besides myself. But deep down, I knew those were just excuses. I realized that if I started shifting blame, I would destroy the trust I had worked so hard to build. So instead, at the next team meeting, I admitted my mistake. I apologized to my team, took full responsibility, and presented a clear plan to prevent such errors in the future. The reaction was surprising. Instead of facing judgment, I was met with respect. Some colleagues even thanked me for setting an example. That's when I understood that admitting mistakes doesn't weaken you, it makes you a more reliable person. Why is acknowledging mistakes so powerful? Because it builds trust. When you take responsibility for your actions, you send a strong signal that you value truth more than your ego. You also create a safe environment where others feel comfortable admitting their own mistakes and working to fix them. But let's be honest, owning up to mistakes is not easy. Many people fear being judged or losing respect. However, ask yourself this: does denying an obvious mistake make you look better, or does it actually damage your credibility? Recognizing mistakes is a sign of confidence. It shows that you are strong enough to face reality and committed to self-improvement. How can you apply this in your life? Practice self-awareness. When something goes wrong, resist the urge to blame others. Instead, ask yourself, what was my role in this? Even if your mistake was small, acknowledging it is the first step toward fixing the problem. Focus on solutions. Don't just apologize and move on. Demonstrate through your actions that you are taking steps to prevent similar mistakes in the future. Understand that mistakes are opportunities for growth. Stoicism reminds us that failure is not the opposite of success. It is a necessary part of it. People who have the courage to admit their mistakes don't just improve themselves, they inspire those around them. Next time you make a mistake, don't hide from it. Pause, take responsibility, and commit to becoming better. Remember, the ability to acknowledge mistakes is not a weakness. It's a superpower. Sixth, don't share your plans too early. Stoicism teaches us that keeping promises isn't just about fulfilling commitments. It's also about protecting our reputation and respecting others. But this also applies to the plans we share too soon. Revealing your goals before achieving them can do more harm than good. Take Nicholas, for example, a middle-aged professional with a warm and friendly personality. He was the type of person who always said yes to everything, whether it was helping a friend move, taking on extra work projects, or attending every social event. His default response was always, "Of course, count me in." But as life became busier, his promises started piling up. He forgot commitments or simply couldn't follow through. One day, a close friend invited Nicholas to an important family dinner. As usual, Nicholas eagerly agreed, but later forgot and scheduled a work meeting at the same time. The next day, his friend told him how disappointed their family was. That moment was a wake-up call. Nicholas realized that his words, meant to express goodwill, were actually causing harm. His promises, though never made with bad intentions, were letting down the people he cared about. This highlights a common mistake. Sometimes we share our plans too soon, or we commit to things prematurely, just to be polite, or to avoid an awkward conversation. However, Stoic philosophy teaches us that our words should be thoughtful and intentional. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This reminds us that our words should always be sincere and carefully considered. How to avoid sharing plans too soon or making empty commitments? Pause before agreeing. Before saying yes to something, ask yourself, does this align with my priorities? Can I realistically fulfill this promise? If the answer is no, it's better to be honest up front than to agree and disappoint later. Focus on quality over quantity. It's better to commit to fewer things and do them well than to spread yourself too thin. When you say you'll do something, follow through with full intention and effort. This strengthens your reputation and earns people's trust. Understand that saying no is not selfish, it's responsible. Stoics believed in focusing only on what is within our control. If you take on too much, you reduce your ability to deliver on the promises that truly matter. When Nicholas learned this lesson, he changed his approach. He became more thoughtful about the commitments he made, learned to say no when necessary, and focused on delivering on what truly mattered. Over time, his relationships improved, and people respected him for his honesty and reliability. In the end, Stoicism teaches us that every word we say shapes how others perceive us and how we perceive ourselves. Before making a promise or sharing a goal, pause, reflect, and ensure that your words align with your true intentions and capabilities. This isn't just wisdom, it's true strength. Conclusion: wisdom in your words. We've covered 6 things that smart people never say, each reflecting the depth of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that words are powerful tools. They can build, inspire, and foster trust, but they can also destroy, alienate, and diminish our respectability. Each of these 6 principles is not just a set of rules, it's a way of life. Don't boast about your knowledge. Let your actions speak louder than your words. Humility and respect for others will make you truly wise in their eyes. Don't dismiss others' opinions. Listening is a sign of strength, not weakness. It allows you to learn and build deeper connections. Avoid pointless complaints. Direct your energy toward what you can control and free yourself from negativity. Don't make empty promises. Your words shape your reputation. Make sure they are honest and backed by action. Acknowledge your mistakes. The courage to admit faults strengthens trust and shows your commitment to self-improvement. Don't share your plans too early. Let your results speak for themselves. Focus and mindfulness will make you more reliable and respected. These principles apply not only to how we communicate with others, but also to our inner dialogue. Ask yourself, how do my words and thoughts shape my identity? Do they reflect my values and aspirations? Stoicism reminds us that every word, every promise, and every thought carries potential. Use this potential to strengthen your relationships, inspire others, and most importantly, become the best version of yourself. Now it's your turn. Apply these ideas in your daily life. Notice how your communication, relationships, and most importantly, your sense of self evolve. Words don't just transmit information, They shape reality, both yours and those around you. And as Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Let your thoughts be pure, your words meaningful, and your actions honest. This is how you build a life you can be proud of. Thank you for watching.